You heard of anything?
Yeah. Below the border, shooing some flies away from a little village. Their village.
Piece, $20.
Looking for men right now.
No, I wouldn't even pay for my bullets. Ours is a poor village.
We understand you could get much more in a grocery store, and it's good, steady work.
How many you got?
In 1960, the Old West met a storm of egos when The Magnificent Seven hit the big screen, and behind the scenes, it was a chaotic blend of scene-stealing antics, professional rivalries, and last-minute scrambles. At the center of it all, two larger-than-life personalities, Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen, whose on-set rivalry turned into one of the most infamous feuds in Hollywood history. Before we get into how McQueen drove Brynner mad, let's set the stage. Directed by John Sturges, The Magnificent Seven was a Western adaptation of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, 1954. The plot follows seven gunmen led by Chris, played by Yul Brynner, who are hired to protect a poor Mexican village from marauding bandits. Joining Brynner were Steve McQueen as Vin Tanner, Charles Bronson as Bernardo O'Reilly, James Coburn as Britt, Robert Vaughn as Lee, Brad Dexter as Harry Luck, and Horst Buchholz as Chico. Eli Wallach portrayed the film's main villain, Calvera. Although it's now considered a Western classic, The Magnificent Seven faced harsh criticism when it was first released, and the film barely made a splash at the US box office. However, it was a massive hit in Europe and gained momentum with later re-releases, thanks in part to its iconic score by Elmer Bernstein. Brynner was the established star at the time, having already won an Academy Award for The King and I and headlined epics like The Ten Commandments. McQueen, on the other hand, was an up-and-coming TV actor eager to make his mark on the big screen. And boy, did he make a mark. McQueen's determination to outshine Brynner became apparent almost immediately. While Brynner, known for his commanding presence and signature bald head, expected to be the undisputed center of attention, McQueen had other plans. He employed subtle but effective scene-stealing tactics. During key moments, McQueen would fidget with his hat, shake his shotgun shells, or even lean down to scoop water with his hat during the river crossing scene. These small gestures were designed to draw the audience's eye away from Brynner and onto McQueen. And they worked. Brynner, infuriated by McQueen's antics, took drastic measures to maintain his dominance. He reportedly had an assistant count the number of times McQueen touched his hat during Brynner's lines. But McQueen, ever the rebel, wasn't deterred. When Brynner had small mounds of dirt built to make himself appear taller, McQueen would casually kick them over as he walked by. Brynner eventually exploded, threatening, "If you don't stop that, I'm going to take off my hat. And then no one will look at you for the rest of the film." Despite the tension, director John Sturges managed to keep the production moving, though he admitted later that the egos on set were a nightmare to control. Sturges had initially fought hard to cast McQueen, who had faked a car accident and worn a neck brace to get time off from his TV show, Wanted Dead or Alive. The gamble paid off, but it came with plenty of headaches. The feud between Brynner and McQueen wasn't just confined to their scenes. It spilled over to the rest of the cast, as other actors began pulling their own scene-stealing stunts. Eli Wallach recalled the chaotic atmosphere, noting how Charles Bronson, Robert Vaughn, and James Coburn all joined the fray, vying for attention. Even with the off-screen drama, the film managed to deliver memorable performances. McQueen's Vin Tanner became a breakout role, catapulting him to movie stardom. His next big collaboration with Sturges, The Great Escape, 1963, cemented his status as a Hollywood legend. Brynner, however, remained bitter about the experience for years. He had advocated for McQueen's casting, but later regretted it, calling it one of the biggest mistakes of his career. Interestingly, the rivalry took a softer turn years later. In 1980, as McQueen lay dying of cancer, he called Brynner to thank him. "What for?" Brynner asked. McQueen replied, "You could have had me kicked off the movie, but you didn't. That picture made me, so thanks." Brynner's response? "I am the king, and you are the rebel prince. Every bit as royal and dangerous to cross." Beyond the on-set drama, the film's production was rife with challenges. Casting had to be completed quickly to avoid a looming Screen Actors Guild strike, and Sturgis barely managed to assemble the full cast in time. The Mexican censors also posed obstacles demanding that the villagers always be shown in clean clothes, a requirement that delayed shooting as costumes had to be repeatedly cleaned. Despite the rocky production, the Magnificent Seven left an indelible mark on cinema history. The ensemble cast's chemistry, whether fueled by friendship or rivalry, elevated the film beyond a typical Western. James Coburn, who was a fan of Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, incorporated elements of Seiji Miyaguchi's performance into his portrayal of Brit. Coburn and Vaughn remained close friends for nearly 50 years, often reminiscing about their time on the set. Bronson, on the other hand, never forgave McQueen for his attention-grabbing tactics. The film's legacy extends beyond its cinematic achievements. The score, particularly the theme music, gained iconic status after being used in Marlboro cigarette commercials. The movie also inspired sequels, a TV series, and a 2016 remake starring Denzel Washington. However, none of the follow-ups captured the magic of the original. Perhaps the most telling symbol of the film's impact is Akira Kurosawa's reaction. Although he initially found the adaptation a disappointment, he was impressed enough to send Sturgis a ceremonial sword, a gesture that speaks volumes about the film's lasting influence. In the end, The Magnificent Seven isn't just remembered for its action-packed scenes and unforgettable score. It's a testament to how larger-than-life personalities can create something truly magnificent, even when clashing behind the scenes. Now it's time to hear from you. Which actor do you think stole the show in The Magnificent Seven? Was Steve McQueen's scene stealing justified, or was Yul Brynner right to be frustrated? Let us know in the comments.